Today's bootleg shit review covers a game called Xiang Jiao Chuan. Forget it. It's also called Super Donkey Kong, and yes, it's based on Donkey Kong Country. Or loosely in this case. Very, very, very loosely. In fact, I don't think this game reminds me of Donkey Kong Country at all. You'll see why. So anyway, we begin the game with music that doesn't even sound remotely close to music familiar in the actual games. This is not Donkey Kong Country music at all. This is more like crackheads playing Hindu music in a horrible way. And you've got shitty colors on top of that, but that's usually expected from a pirate or Famicom game. Anyway, you either start off the game right away or enter a password to continue where you left off. This is very important, especially for a certain level that anyone can get stuck in, and trust me, I use the term stuck very literally, and you'll see why. And of course you can select between Donkey and Diddy Kong. And for some reason they look like they're high on acid. Now you might be thinking, this doesn't look like a bad game. Maybe not so much at first, but once you start playing, holy shit, you're gonna be pissed. When I started playing this game, this was my initial reaction. Why is Donkey Kong orange? There's clearly a lot of brown in this game and they couldn't even put it on him? If anything, he looks more like that monkey from the Jungle Book instead of Donkey Kong. But that's not the major issue with this game. The biggest issue I have with this game is the controls. While they're far from being completely broken, they feel very sensitive and very imprecise. For example, he wouldn't jump quite right, and sometimes he would run while I hold the B button, but other times he wouldn't. It's really strange. This isn't too bad at first, but it gets really frustrating once you make it to more difficult levels. Speaking of level designs, that brings us to the second half of the first level, which is a cave. You have absolutely no enemies in this part, and all you do is jump from one platform to another. Boring! But that's not the worst part. The worst part is this. Yes, folks. Unless you know the password to the second level, you're stuck. Literally! But believe it or not, there actually is a way to get out. By some secret passage, which I'm having a hard time finding and have to sacrifice all my lives because of this shit. What lazy fuckwit would decide to make people stuck at the end of the level? God, this makes me want to castrate the pirate faggots. Fortunately, we don't have to continue with all this bullshit because I have a password that can help us skip this level and go further in the game. Take that, whoever made this piece of shit game. Anyway, let's take a look at the other levels. In the mushroom stage, you jump on a bunch of tall but narrow mushrooms while avoiding and or hitting enemies. This may sound like an easy task, but with how crappy the controls are, good luck trying to beat it. Then you have two underwater stages, which are the most boring levels I have ever played in a video game, let alone a pirated one on top of that. All you do is swim, and you swim so fucking slow that you'll be free from sleeping pills for a month, if not a year. Then there's also a second cave stage where you're riding on train tracks and you have to jump on the exact moment in order to get on the next rail. But how can you time things right when the controls suck so bad? And then you have the jungle stage where you're mostly jumping from one rope to another, and to climb the ropes you have to keep tapping the up button. Not hold, tap. You know, to make things less convenient. And sometimes you might not land on another rope, resulting in falling and losing a life. Fuck this game. So while this is not as bad as other shitty bootleg games I've reviewed, it's still pretty lame. Now for the verdict. The jury has found Lang Yi, whatever they're called, Productions guilty for, you know the drill. And since this game is from China, I sentence them to be beaten up by a group of angry Asians. Anyway, 2010 wasn't what I expected to be in terms of my reviews, but I promise you all that 2011 will kick so much ass. With that said, I'm Allie-RX, and I want to wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and most importantly, Happy New Year.